Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to your sleep story. I am Theresa Noye, your radical self-love coach. I work with high-achieving women who typically put themselves last to love themselves enough to put themselves first. You deserve to love, cherish, and honor yourself without guilt because your well-being matters. It gives me great joy to be the voice that guides you into a restful sleep tonight. You are so deeply loved. Your existence is the proof. Before we begin tonight's sleep story, let's start with a relaxation session. I'm going to count down from 10 to 1, and as I do, allow yourself to let go more and more. 10. Feel the support beneath you, the support of your bed, the floor, and the earth beneath. Imagine the warm sand of a beautiful beach cradling you, holding you with the earth's gentle strength. Allow that certainty, that solidity to enable you to release a little more, to sink into this moment a bit more. 9. You are safe. All is well. Allow my voice to be a point of safety for you. Allow my voice to be an anchor that keeps you in a safe space. Know that my voice will only ever bring you into safe places. Feel it into your body now. Notice where you might be holding tension. Maybe your feet, your hands, your face, or your belly. Just release it all. Your body has worked hard for you today. It's time for it to rest. It deserves rest. 8. Today is done. Whatever has been, has been. Whatever will be, will be. All you have is now. So thoughts about the day that just was, or days that are to come, don't serve you right now. Allow that realization to enable you to settle into this moment more. 7. This is your moment. You have nowhere to be, nowhere to go. The only place you need to be is here, enjoying this cozy sleep story and the sound of my voice. You deserve it. 6. You deserve it. You deserve rest. You deserve sleep. You deserve to be here. Allow that fact to help you let go a little more. 5. Perhaps allow yourself to feel a little gratitude now. Gratitude for this moment. Gratitude for the ability to rest. Gratitude for the simple things. Your breath, the shelter you have tonight, the opportunity to switch off in a place of safety. 4. Embrace the coziness of this moment, the coziness of lying down in a safe space, moving towards sleep in the beautiful act of storytelling. 3. Begin to engage with your imagine now. Engage with your imagination. Picture a beach in the Caribbean, a secluded spot on the beautiful island of Barbados. isolated from the rest of the world, or another favorite spot that you may have. Allow yourself to engage. Bring that picture to mind and check in with your body again. Make sure you're not holding tension anywhere. Release and allow yourself to sink a little deeper. 2, completely let go now as I tell you tonight's sleep story. Maya had always been the one everyone turned to, the rock of her family, the friend who showed up no matter what, the colleague who stayed late to pick up the slack. She wore her reliability like a badge of honor, a silent declaration that she could do it all. After all, wasn't that the role of a high-achieving woman? To rise above, to take care of everyone, to make it look effortless. She had grown up hearing stories of her grandmother walking miles to work, of her mother sacrificing her dreams so Maya could chase hers. Maya had succeeded, degrees, promotions, awards. She was the first in her family to break the cycle of struggle. But success came with an invisible contract. With her rise came the expectation that she'd carry everyone else along with her. And Maya didn't just carry them, she carried their hopes, their burdens, their struggles, saying no to their needs like it felt like betrayal. It felt like she was ungrateful for the sacrifices they had made. So she said yes, again and again. Yes to covering her cousin's rent. Yes to helping her friend rewrite her resume at midnight. Yes to leading one more committee at work. Yes to everything except herself. But the cracks were starting to show. One evening, Maya sat in her car outside her home, her phone buzzing incessantly on the seat next to her. Another message, another request. Her chest felt tight, her head pounding. She glanced at her reflection in the rearview mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. Dark circles under her eyes, a weariness that no amount of coffee could fix. She thought about how she had snapped at her colleague earlier that day, something so unlike her. She thought about how her body had been begging for rest, nagging headaches, sleepless nights, the constant ache in her shoulders. Tears welled in her eyes. This isn't sustainable. I can't keep doing this. That night, Maya collapsed into bed, her body heavy with exhaustion, but her mind raced. She thought about the guilt that gnawed at her every time she considered saying no. She thought about how she was trying to be everything for everyone, but in the process she was losing herself. And then a question rose from somewhere deep within her. What if saying yes to everyone else means saying no to me? The next morning, Maya made herself a cup of tea and sat in her favorite chair by the window. For the first time in months, she let herself just sit. No emails, no calls, just silence. And in that stillness, she allowed herself to reflect. She thought about her family, how she had taken on the role of fixer, trying to solve problems they weren't willing to address themselves. She thought about the guilt she carried for being the first to succeed, for having what they didn't. But as she dug deeper, she realized something profound. No matter how much she gave, it was never enough. Not because her family wasn't grateful, but because their struggles weren't hers to fix. She couldn't want for them what they didn't want for themselves. Maya thought about her health, the headaches, the fatigue, the anxiety. She realized that every time she said yes to something that drained her, she was depleting herself. And the more depleted she became, the less she had to give to the things that truly mattered. That day, Maya made a promise to herself. She would start saying no, not out of selfishness, but out of self-preservation, out of love for herself and the people who depended on her. Because if she broke under the weight of everyone else's expectations, she wouldn't be able to help anyone, not even herself. It wasn't easy at first. The next time her cousin called asking for money, Maya's stomach churned as she said, "I'm sorry, but I can't help you this time." The disappointment in his voice stung, but she reminded herself that his financial choices weren't her responsibility. When a colleague tried to rope her into another after-hours project, she took a deep breath and said, "I'm at capacity right now, but I'm happy to support in other ways during work hours." The world didn't end, and with every no, Maya felt a little lighter. Over time, she began to turn her energy inward. She started a morning ritual, a few minutes of journaling, a quiet walk in the garden, a stretch to loosen her tense muscles. She set boundaries at work, reclaiming her evenings for rest and relaxation. She found joy in small things, reading a novel, trying a new recipe, laughing with friends who didn't ask anything of her except her presence. But her journey didn't end there. As Maya practiced saying no and reclaiming her time, she began to notice subtle shifts in her relationships. Some family members adjusted, learning to navigate their own challenges without leaning so heavily on her. Others resisted, accusing her of changing or forgetting where she came from. At first, their reactions hurt, but Maya reminded herself of something her coach had once told her. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're fences to protect what matters most. Her boundaries didn't mean she loved her family or friends any less. They meant she was finally learning to love herself more. She started investing in her own well-being. Her sessions with her coach became a non-negotiable part of her routine. She joined a local yoga class, not for the fitness aspect, but for the mindfulness it brought her. She even rediscovered her love of painting, a hobby she had abandoned years ago in the whirlwind of her career and family obligations. The impact was undeniable. Maya's headaches faded. Her sleep improved. She felt more present, more grounded. At work, her effectiveness soared because she wasn't running on fumes anymore. And in her personal life, she discovered something unexpected. Her family and friends respected her boundaries. They adapted. And those who didn't, Maya let them go with love. As the months passed, Maya noticed something profound. Her sense of guilt had transformed. Where once it had been a heavy chain keeping her tied to others' expectations, it was now a gentle reminder of her humanity. She learned to distinguish between guilt that signaled growth and guilt that stemmed from outdated obligations. And with this clarity came freedom. One evening, as she sat in her garden with a paintbrush in hand and a canvas in front of her, she reflected on how far she had come. The sun dipped low, casting a golden glow over the flowers she had planted herself, vibrant tulips and roses, a testament to her newfound commitment to nurturing her own joy. She realized that boundaries weren't just about saying no to others. They were about saying yes to herself. Maya's journey to boundaries wasn't about shutting people out. It was about letting herself in. It was about recognizing that her worth wasn't tied to how much she could do for others. It was about understanding that saying no wasn't rejection. It was redirection, a way to channel her energy toward what truly mattered. And now, as Maya sits in her garden, the sun warming her skin and a book resting on her lap, she smiles. She's learned the power of no, and in doing so, she's found the freedom to say yes to herself. Now, I invite you to reflect on your own life. Are you carrying the weight of saying yes when your heart longs to say no? Remember this: you are allowed to set boundaries. You are allowed to protect your energy. You are allowed to put yourself first. Not because you don't care about others, but because you care enough to show up as your best self. Release the guilt of saying no. Honor your needs. Trust that by prioritizing you, you will build a life of balance, love, and peace. Let this be your moment. Turn inward, honor yourself, and trust that your no is a powerful yes to the life you deserve. Sweet dreams, beautiful soul.